dos, tres. Hola, hola.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour featuring the TCR South America and TCR Brazil series. This is an audio test to check levels on air with Paul Jeffrey. Test, test. 1 2 1 2. Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour alongside the TCR South America Championship. We are here at the picturesque and at the beautiful Interlagos circuit. The Interlagos Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache is the venue for round 7 and 8, as well as being a thrilling year of
Hi
racing.
everyone, this is Leticia, it's straight from Interlagos, Brazil, and these are the rounds 7 and 8 of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. The first time that the championship visits Brazil. It is important to say that we have 3 championships sharing the track today. TCR South America and TCR Brazil Banco BRB with the World Tour. We do have 28 cars on the grid, 10 nationalities and also 7 manufacturers. It will be outstanding. The leader of the World Tour in this moment is Norbert Michelis, and I will be talking to Pepe Oriola in a few minutes. Just come here. Pepe, he is a former TCR driver and the team principal of GOAT Racing, and nobody better than you to tell us about the challenges of racing Interlagos, because you have raced yourself in Interlagos with the TCR South America car. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here in Brazil. We had a really warm welcome from all the Brazilian fans and the people who is really enthusiastic about motorsport. It feels really good, especially for me, to be back here in the track where TCR South America had its debut a few years ago, and of course special to be in the Interlagos Senna representative circuit.
Okay guys, good luck to everyone, and I'll be back between Q1 and Q2 with more interviews.
Thank you very much, Leticia. Good to speak to Pepe Oriola down on pit lane ahead of this very important qualification session. Of course, anybody new to the world of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, it's great to have you with us. Ahead of us, we're going to have a 20-minute session followed by a 10-minute Q2. And we've got 28 cars in the field. The KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour regulars are all present and accounted for in this field. We can see Esteban Guerrieri, Mikel Azcona, Marco Butte, and a new name, Nelson Piquet Jr., familiar of course to fans of motor racing and Formula One around the world. Alongside those drivers, we will have the TCR South America and TCR Brazil talent taking part in this particular race. Several notable names that are new to the world of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, and several drivers returning from last year's endeavours. Before we do that though, here are the current championship standings in the World Tour. Norbert Michelis has a 22-point advantage over Jan Elishay at the front of the field. Difficult weekend last time out at Mid-Ohio, although Elishay came through for a race victory. 22 points, very small gap between all of the drivers at the top of the field. It's very tight as well in the standings for the teams. The BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa outfit currently leads by 20 points from Cyan Racing. Pepe Oriola's GOAT Racing concern, we spoke to him down on pit lane, they're third in the standings in their first year of touring car competition, right at the very pinnacle of the top of the pyramid of TCR Racing in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. As you can see on your screen, the weather here in Interlagos is absolutely sensational. We had 2 free practice sessions earlier on today in FP1. It was that man, Santiago Urrutia, who came through as the quickest driver. A 1 minute 42.403 was his time, 3 thousandths of a second quicker than that man there, Esteban Guerrieri. In free practice 2, it was Dusan Borkovic, who was the quickest of our runners, from John Philippi in second position, but our South American drivers, 6th place for Rafael Suzuki and 6th place for Juan Manuel Casilla in FP1 and FP2, suggests that the South American drivers on home soil will have a very good chance of scoring strong points over the course of this weekend. As I began to mention at the top of the show, the format for this qualification session is a Q1 that'll last for 20 minutes. Then we will take the fastest 12 drivers through to a 10-minute Q2. Those fastest 12 drivers will reverse the top 10 for our race to start tomorrow afternoon. So there's a lot to play for each and every one of our 28 drivers about to take on to this beautiful Interlagos Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache circuit. 4.309 kilometres is this track, 2.677 miles, 15 corners. The layout that we're running is the one that's been running since 1999. Famous, of course, for Formula One racers, and the first corner, the first section of corners named after the legend that is Ayrton Senna. The Ayrton Senna S will be a key passing place when we get to racing action tomorrow afternoon. But before we do that one, there's a small matter of qualification in front of us. And with a tight TCR South America, TCR Brazil field, it's going to be difficult for the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour drivers to secure that all-important top 12 spot that they need to get through to Q2. Several drivers are showing signs of difficulty on this difficult and technical Interlagos circuit. It is definitely not going to be a case of a free pass for all of our World Tour drivers to make it through in a Q2, and that's why this session is going to be particularly fascinating today. That's our first look this weekend. That is car number 17. That is Juan Angel Rosso in the beautiful Toyota Corolla. One of the cars that don't race in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, developed, of course, by Toyota. In fact, I apologise. In fact, that is Matthias Rossi, the 5-time TC 2000 champion. He's making his debut in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour this weekend. Rossi, a legend of South American motorsport, massively talented driver. He's having a little bit of a difficult acclimatisation back into the top level here at Interlagos. He was only 22nd quickest in free practice too. Expect that kind of performance not to follow through into qualifying. He's one of the drivers that should be in the conversation to progress through to Q2. And of course, the Toyota Corolla GRS TCR, developed in South America, is proven to be a very competitive car indeed, as immediately we go sideways. Little bit of drama there for one of our drivers, who manages to get it back on the straight and narrow, thankfully, does Fabian Iannantuoni. But he's one of our drivers that we expect to be very competitive over the course of this qualification session as well. Iannantuoni, of course, has already taken a victory in South America at Cascavel a couple of rounds ago, so he knows exactly how to get round these TCR touring cars in this particular competition. As per usual in qualifying, drivers often come back in the pit lane after a cycle lap, swap around those tyres, get the car in perfect order to set their fast lap around this beautiful track. Rafael Race that we're looking at here, another driver that we saw in the TCR South America and TCR World Tour competition last season. Back again, hoping for another strong race event, is Rafael Race. Very, very talented Brazilian driver. Incredibly quick around this circuit. Incredibly quick and fact and fair. Last time that we raced with the World Tour, South America finished P8 at La Pedrera Park in Argentina last time around. Same car, different livery. Rafael Race will be looking to set a opening foray onto the timing screens. Very much a case of setting some benchmark times in these early part of qualification. Just give yourself a little bit of breathing space if you decide to stay on the racetrack. Just get your name on the board early. Several drivers, as I say, coming down pit lane. John Philippi, that you see at the bottom of your screen there for Volcano Motorsports, car number 127. His tyres have been swapped around. He's back out on the racetrack, so John will be looking to set his first representative time of the session. Ted Bjork elected to set his lap with a 1 minute 43.248. Norbert Michaelis, that we're looking at on screen as well. They are the BRC Hyundai Ed Squadra Corsa trio. Michaelis just ahead of Mikel Azcona, and then of course just behind them is Bebu Girolami. Already a winner this season is Bebu Girolami. They're looking to add another victory to his name should things go his way tomorrow afternoon. Here is Norbert Michaelis now, 1 minute 43.270 currently against his name. Marcin Guar in third position, from Jan Elishay in fourth. The fastest so far of our South American drivers is Casella in sixth place, just 6/10 of a second away from the provisional pole, the provisional fastest time, should I say, currently held by Ted Bjork. Roberto Fontana, another new name to the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, another name that you may recognise, of course, if A, you're a fan of South American motorsport, or B, a fan of Formula One in the 1990s. of course, the former Sauber Formula One driver, Norberto Fontana, the Argentine. He's had a very, very good career indeed since leaving the world of Grand Prix racing. A double TC 2000 champion in Argentina, currently racing for the Cobra Racing Team, sporting car number 47. Runs a little bit deep, does Fontana, in the Corolla. He'll get that one back on the racetrack, no real dramas. But that will, of course, not help the lap times at all. Fontana, not as competitive as once was, 49 years of age as the Argentine driver. We don't expect him to have much of a say into the top 12. He was outside of the top 20 in free practice too. But again, great name, great to see him racing. He participates in the TCR South America Series and he's joined the World Tour for this qualification session. Norbert Michelis, by the way, has set a 1 minute 43.031, so he's the quickest driver in the field, the fastest overall, sector 1. And then he drops away towards the next part of the lap, so Michelis 2/10 to the good at this moment in time. Teammate Bebu Girolami, new into the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa outfit for 2024. Girolami taken to the Elantra N TCR like a duck to water, it has to be said, this season. Girolami doing good work at this moment in time. 4th position for the Argentine driver, and this is riding on board the 129 now of Girolami. Our first look from the cockpit of the absolutely sensational Interlagos circuit. It's been suboptimal weather conditions, it has to be said. It's the winter here in Brazil during the shakedown and the opening 2 practice sessions, but now, as you can see, we've got some relatively warm winter sun, an absolutely 100% dry racetrack, and these are perfect weather conditions for these TCR touring cars. Expect to see some very, very quick lap times indeed as we get to the business end of Q1 here in Interlagos. Girolami, we're looking at now. Not a great first and second sector. Dives down pit lane alongside his BRC squad mates. And there is the Cyan Racing Link & Co outfit matching Hua. Currently 3rd position is Mar, 3/10 of a second away from Norby at the front of the field. I think it's fair to say, coming into this event, we expected this to be a Link & Co Cyan Racing benefits. That's a very good opening gambit there from Michelis to go quickest of all in Q1. Drivers, several drivers in fact, yet to set a representative time. From the World Tour contingent, Dusan Borkovic perhaps is one of the bigger names that have yet to set the time. Esteban Gurrieri, his teammate in the GOAT Racing Honda squad, also hasn't got a time on the board. Galid Ostman, who we're looking at this moment in time. This is the Brazilian driver on home soil. Galid Ostman about to cross the line to set his first substantial lap time of the day. Goes up in a 7th position. Good time there from the Brazilian. Continues on his way as well, still pushing for a second hot lap here. Very committed to the centre S. Good bit of driving there from the Cupra driver. Of course, Galid using the brand new Cupra to devastating effect, it has to be said. Fantastic car, made its mark very firmly in the TCR world. Galid Usman, car number 28, doing a good job thus far. Esteban Gurrieri sets his first time, moves up in a 3rd position, immediately passed by teammate Marco Butis of the GOAT Racing Hondas. 3rd and 4th position, good time for Esteban Gurrieri and Marco Buti. Buti quickest of all through sector 1. That is a good time by the young Italian driver. Ted Bjork, though, has his own answer. The Swedish driver for Cyan Racing Link & Co outfit goes quickest with a 43.220. In fact, Rafael Reis from absolutely nowhere. Rafael Reis goes quickest with a 43.220. Let's have a look how that compares to practice earlier today. A good 4/10 of a second quicker, so Rafael Reis knows exactly what he wants to achieve from this qualifying session. Comes out all guns blazing, as immediately he's passed by John Felipe. Felipe drops off the timing screen, though that time has been deleted, so it appears. So Rafael Reis is still our quickest driver as we hit the 10 minutes remaining mark in Q1. Great to see home heroes at the forefront. In fact, Raffaele Suzuki now decides it's his time to shine. Raffaele Suzuki, we saw him last year on board the Toyota, now sporting the Peugeot 308, and Suzuki goes quickest overall to set the fastest time. The Stock Car Brazil driver and the TCR South America driver, there is Raffaele Suzuki on the screen right now. Beautiful to see the little Peugeot 308 in action here in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. Last time we saw this car on track, of course, was in the Australian leg of last season. And now it's great to see Rafael Suzuki having a very, very good time indeed. Fabian Iannantuono that we're looking at the moment in time as well. That is again the Toyota Corolla Iannantuono. Currently quite far down the running order, so he'll be looking to dig a little bit deeper. Esteban Gurrieri now goes quickest at the top of the times. So let's have a quick look. What are we taking a look at here? Very close contact between... Oh, that is not nice. That is not nice at all. That is Marcos Reguedas. And then a big, big contact into the barriers as well. The circuit officials are out on track there. There is the snatch vehicle. First question is the driver okay and uninjured? That's the most important question we need to ask ourselves. Red flag waving out on track. Absolutely understandable, that one. We need to clear away the damaged car. Make sure driver is uninjured. Make sure the circuit is safe to go racing. Clear that car away. I didn't catch who it was that was sprayed out into the barriers. Hopefully we see another replay of that one. Regadas was the car that made contact with the car that ended up in the barriers. And that's a high speed point of the racetrack in which to have a collision. Of course, the run down the very long swooping left-hander for the back straight over the start-finish line, then into the braking event for the Senna S. Big, big contact from those two cars. Everybody back in pit lane. There is Rafael Race. And we're looking at on our screen. Currently fifth quickest is Race at this moment in time. Let's take another look at exactly what happened here. Little bit of sort of wiggling away from the line. That is Enrico Maglione, who's the driver that makes contact with the barriers. Just coming down onto the car alongside him. Two cars into the space where only one will fit. The inevitable end result, of course, is somebody ends up speared into the barriers. And sadly for Enrique Maglione, he is the driver that will be ending this qualifying session. 9 minutes, 13 seconds left on the clock. Timing, of course, will come to a pause. And oh, that is a very heavily buried car. Maglione, hopefully, he can extract himself without much effort from that one. In fact, there he is into the medical car. So that's fantastic to see. I'm really, really happy to see that Enrique is uninjured in this one. But the Squadra Martino car, whoa, very well buried into the barriers, that Honda Civic. That'll take a fair amount of time for the team to extract him and let us get on with the matter of qualification. So these are the problems that we get when you have a busy racetrack. Lots of cars, lots of drivers, and lots of opportunities for things to go wrong. And go wrong in very spectacular style. They have done indeed. There is Marcos Reguedas heading back away from the scene of the accident. Shame there as well, of course, for Marcos to find himself in the barriers so early into this qualification session. Remember, the top 12 drivers go through into the next session. There is the stricken car of Marcos Reguedas. Marcos P6 in Velocita, race 2, 2023 is his last best result in the TCR South America seasons. So he's a very competitive driver, not one of the natural front runners at the head of the field, but certainly somebody that's capable of springing a surprise. There will be absolutely no such surprises for him. Right, so while we're under red flag conditions, let's take a look at where we are in the qualification times. Esteban Gurrieri for Goat Racing leads a Goat Racing 1-2 in Q1. Gurrieri from teammate Marco Buti. Dusan Borkovic then in third position for good measure. The Honda's looking very competitive in the early stages of qualifying. Raffaele Suzuki leads the charge of the local talent for the Peugeot team in fourth place ahead of Rafael Race. In sixth is Ted Bjork from Norbert Michaelis. Seventh. In eighth is Marcin Hua. Then Nestor Girolami in ninth. Galid Usman rounds out the top 10 runners. Several drivers back in pit lane. A little bit of damage on the circuit for the trackside team to have a look at, see if they can get that one repaired and see if we can get back out there on the racetrack sooner rather than later to continue the final 9 minutes and 13 seconds of this Q1 session. Big drivers that don't have representative times thus far. Jan Elishay all the way down in 12th position. The Frenchman will be looking to improve from that one. Mikel Azcona in 19th from the World Tour. Mikel, lots of work to do to get himself into the top 12 as well. And Lionel Pernia even, has yet to set a representative time. He's the slowest of all drivers at the bottom of the field. And of course, he's another driver, Lionel Pernia, that is incredibly successful in South America, sporting car number 44. Pernia is a three-time TC2000 champion, so very, very quick indeed. He won the Velocita Race 1 in TCR South America last time around, so he's a driver that I think it's fair to say came into this one expecting to be able to put a good show on and fight for strong finishing positions. No such opportunity though thus far, without a representative time on the board. 1 minute 52.395 is certainly not the kind of pace that the Argentinian driver is expected to achieve at the conclusion of this session. There is the Peugeot of Raffaele Suzuki we saw very briefly there. The fans on, trying to keep these cars cool, plug it into the laptop. Last opportunity for these drivers to get a little bit of moisture on board, a little bit of fresh air, and decide exactly what comes next for the final 9 minutes and 13 seconds of qualification. There is Rafael Reis, car number 77, Rafael Reis, driving the W2 Pro GP Cupra Leon VZ. One of the newest TCR cars in global competition. Very successfully campaigned in TCR Europe. It's been very successful all around the world. And Rafael Reis is doing good work in 5th position thus far, about 0.6 of a second away from Esteban Gurrieri, who's our quickest driver in the field so far. Gurrieri, of course, just ahead of teammate Marco Butti. 1st and 2nd position for those two drivers. And then in 3rd, the 3rd of the GOAT Racing cars, Dusan Borkovic. 1, 2, 3 for Honda. It's looking strong in Q1. Still no word yet from the officials as to when the circuit will be good to go again. Hopefully in a few minutes' time we can clear that car, repair the barriers, and we can get on with the job of qualification. Temperature beginning to rise here at Interlagos, the pressure increasing. There is Nelson Piquet Jr., of course, former Formula 1 driver, former British Formula 3 champion, and son of the legendary Nelson Piquet as well. Big name from 1980s Formula 1 motor racing. Piquet Jr. spends a lot of his time in Stock Car Brazil, but it's great to see him this weekend in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour in a TCR car.
Jan Elache, how is this quali treating you so far?
So far it's okay. We have done just one run. Now there is a red flag. So let's see now when it restarts. We need to put a good time on the board now.
And overall, how is Interlagos circuit for you?
Yeah, it's a very nice track. It's quite iconic. As a driver, it's a real pleasure to be here in Brazil.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Jan Elache, of course, is currently on the bubble for those that will progress through to Q2. 12th position for Elache at this moment in time, a 1 minute 43.596, almost a second away from Esteban Gurrieri at the front of the field. We expect more from the French driver, of course, when the green flag flies again and we get back on with the business of qualifying in Q1. Elache, one of those to be caught out by this unexpected stoppage here in Q. I think a lot of drivers, it's fair to say, didn't anticipate this being a particularly heavy red flag session. So this will be very much against the run of play in the form book that we would expect coming into qualifying. There were several drivers, I am sure, that will be a little bit concerned about this braking proceedings and their prospects. We see some great slow-mo shots from the first part of Q1. Dusan Borkovic there in the GOAT Racing machine. Bebu Girolami, of course, no stranger to South America, the Argentine driver. Very, very popular on these shores, very successful in his homeland as well. Be a big buzz for Bebu Girolami to be racing in Brazil. Fantastic to see this Interlagos circuit for the very first time as part of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour calendar. As Jan Elache mentioned in that interview, it's an iconic circuit. It's a famous circuit full of some of the most engaging corners in the world, and for a touring car, this is the kind of racetrack that these guys can really get their elbows out on. You can really hustle a TCR car around this circuit, and I dare say we're going to have two absolutely cracking races tomorrow once we get over the small matter of the remainder of this qualification session. still undertaking work, repairing the barriers from the stranded Malioni Squadron Martino Honda Civic that we saw a little bit earlier on. Really unfortunate though, but it's fair to say that the best news away from that one is Enrique Malioni is indeed uninjured from that particular incident. So hopefully Squadron Martino can get that car fixed and ready to go racing again tomorrow. No such problem for GOAT Racing as things stand. They're 1, 2, 3 in the running order. Fantastic result so far for GOAT Racing. Pepe Oriola, run squad, new in for 2024. And they're, fair to say, they're shaking some trees. It has to be said. This young squad going up against the established mainstay of TCR touring cars, and they've come in right off the bat to be competitive. Been victories already for this team in TCR Europe as well.
And I'm here with Dorkovic. Dorkovic, you are the second right now, or the third, I'm sorry, and you were the fastest on free practice too. How is to be for the first time in Interlagos?
Yeah, the circuit is unbelievable, one of the best I ever been in, and especially because of the energy of the Senna itself. And but the circuit is very, very difficult. We had only like small shakedown, really short, and then only 2 free practices. And we are still trying, at least I'm still trying to find the best lines and to get into the rhythm with the track, which is very, very, very difficult and a big degradation. You have to be careful with the tires and so. But for now, it's going good. So if I can get into the top 10 at the end, I will be really happy.
What's the importance for you to be racing South America? You've been representing the World Tour, and now in South America for the second time.
Yeah, this championship for itself is very, very strong and powerful, and with a lot of brands, and the factory teams is unbelievable. And now we have a lot of fast drivers also from South America. They are hot-blooded, really, really fast. And I'm also representing my country, Serbia, and we have Expo in 2027, so in 3 years. And I'm happy to can show to the world what Serbia can do.
Thank you very much to the tallest driver on the grid.
Letitia there discovering that Dusan Borkovic is indeed the tallest driver on the grid. I'm 6'5" and I still have to lift the microphone over my head to get a chat with a big Serbian driver, and he's putting on a big performance, it has to be said, so far. Third quickest thus far for Borkovic, only 3 laps in the books, just one of which is a timed lap, but Borkovic currently the third of 3 GOAT Racing drivers. At this moment in time, he's 0.4 of a second just over in arrears of his teammate Esteban Gurrieri at the top of the times in Q1. Still no word as to when we're going to go green flag racing again, so this is a good opportunity to remind you all, if you're watching at home on the TCR TV YouTube channel, great to have you with us. Hello. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe to be reminded every time we go live with the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour in 2024. We've got a great season behind us thus far and still plenty of very exciting racing yet to come. This is the first of 2 races in South America, of course. We do this one at the Interlagos circuit, then we move over on the 2nd to the 4th of August to the El Pinar trike in Uruguay, which, if you cast your minds back to 2023, was another sensational race, a home victory for Santiago Urrutia as well. I expect it to be no less exciting in 2024, so that's one to very much look forward to at the conclusion of this weekend. But this weekend has only just begun.
Marco Bucci from Italy, he's second on Q1 for now. Marco, what's going to be the challenge to go back to the track after all this time of red flag?
Yeah, it seems for the moment a very good qualifying for us. P1, P2 and P3 got racing, so yeah. Still a lot of minutes to go for the qualifying, so a lot of our competitors don't do any lap, so yeah, we have to stay focused and continue to push in our situation.
What do you think about the level of the drivers in TCR Brazil and TCR South America?
It's a very, very high level for a national TCR. Like in Italy, we have TCR Italy, TCR Europe, but there you can feel the speed, and yeah, It's very, very funny to race there in Brazil for the first time with a Brazilian guy and Argentinian. They know very, very well the track. So yeah, it's a big challenge.
Okay, good luck to you.
That was, of course, Marco Butti of Goat Racing. Currently, Marco sits 10th in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour standings. He's had so much pace this season, but it just seems mistakes, misfortune, getting caught up in dramas either of his own making or by others has kind of conspired to limit the results of Marco Butti. I very much expect the Italian driver to get stronger. Very young, of course, is Marco Butti as well. He's not been around the international level of touring cars for a particularly long time. So I very much expect him, he's only 19 years of age, to get faster, quite literally, every time he goes on the racetrack. So Marco Butti, a name for the future. This is a little replay from very, very early on in the session. That is Fabian Iannantuoni through the centre S, getting the car on the lock stops in the Palladini Racing Toyota Corolla. Good bit of car control there from Iannantuoni. And then this is another replay that we're looking at. Ted Bjork is the man on the inside. Gets the pass done. We'll be seeing plenty of that tomorrow in the racing. I am absolutely certain. Ted does well to gather the car roughly back to the apex again to make it around the rest of the lap. Bebo Girolami, no stranger to racing a TCR touring car. Maximum attack in the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa machine. Still no news, I'm afraid, for you watching at you folks watching at home as to when we're going to be back under green flag racing conditions. Several drivers staying in their car, the likes of Marco Butti, out and giving interviews, so no suggestion yet as to when we're going to be going back under green flag conditions. And this is a prime opportunity to let the pressure build for our drivers. It's going to be fascinating to see who's on the money when we go green flag racing again in hopefully a few moments' time. Looking at the Raphael race car once again, beautiful piece of machinery. Raphael Race, the Brazilian driver, car number 77. Doing a great job so far in this session. Briefly quickest on the timing screens we did see when we were under green flag running, but I do think that it is quite possible that may have been a deleted lap. So Raphael Race currently 5th in the overall timings. And there is yet another replay of the contract, Enrique Malione. Contact with the barriers, of course. We've seen him out of the car into the safety car, so he's away and uninjured. He escaped any kind of dramas in that particular one, but that car is well embedded into the retaining tyre wall. It's going to take a long, long time to recover that machine, but Enrique Malione is uninjured. That's the most important thing from this one. He's now back in the paddock at the Circuit Medical Centre being checked over. Big contact, dramatic result, to say the least, for those two cars on the run down into the centre S, and that is exactly why we're running currently under these red flag conditions. Norberto Fontana, the Argentine former Formula 1 driver, 49 years of old, Norberto Fontana, double STC 2000 champion. He's in TCR South America in 2024 and he's making his debut in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. It's great to have him in the field with us. Very strong field in the TCR South America this season. Their champion, Ignacio Montenegro, he's moved on from South America for this year. He's over in TCR Europe. Won, of course, last time out at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Big opportunity for the rest of the field now to become a new champion in 2024. It's a very tight series in South America. In fact, it's Juan Angel Rosso 5 points ahead of Pedro Cardozo. Raphael Race third in that particular standings, a further 4 points in arrears. And then for TCR Brazil, Raphael Race leads on 182 points, a singular point ahead of Pedro Cardozo. Galid Osman is in third in that championship from Mateus Rossi and Juan Angel Rosso in 5th position. So 3 different championships. And there is, oh dear, a very tired looking Honda Civic indeed. Look at the damage on the front right of that machine. Squadra Martino mechanics will be sighing heavily, I think it's fair to say, looking at those TV pictures. That is a lot of work to get that car fit and ready to go racing tomorrow afternoon. And not doubting Squadra Martino for 1 minute, but I think that's going to be quite the challenge to get Malione's car fixed and ready to go racing tomorrow. We'll keep our eye on that one. Keep your eye on the TCR social media channels, in fact, to see the progress of the repair work before we go racing tomorrow afternoon. While we're under red flag conditions, at the bottom of your screen, you can see the current provisional standings for this Q1 segment of qualifying. There is Letitia having a word with the Cyan Lincoln Co squad. In fact, Marcin Qua looks like he's going to be the willing volunteer. So hopefully we'll have a little word with Mar as he heads out into the Brazilian sunshine to find out his opinions on how Q1 is going so far for the Chinese driver, the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. Ever the pro, Letitia, getting him lined up on the grid. So let's head down to pit lane and have a quick word with Marcin Qua.
And I'm here with Marcin Qua from China, visiting Brazil for the first time.
No, it's actually I've been here several times, but first time racing with the FIA TCR World Tour. So excited, nice circuit, super nice weather today, and yeah, just started the qualifying, just finished my first lap, still try to improve, we will see after the red flag.
What are the biggest challenges you find here, technically speaking, regarding Interlagos?
It's a very demanding circuit with a lot of attitude changed and faster corners, very exciting. I think one of the circuit in the calendar is really nice and exciting to drive. So I really like this circuit. Hopefully we can do a good quali.
And how is everyone in China who follows you on social media? Are they curious about you being in Brazil? Are they curious about you being racing one of the most iconic circuits in the world?
Yeah, sure. All the fans from China, I think they are watching now on the broadcasting, and especially this event for us, for Lincoln Co team, Cyan Racing, and it's quite important because for the moment we are a few points behind in the second place for the team points. So we will try fight really hard to achieve the points for this weekend to be able to overtake in the championship. So yeah, let's see.
Okay, so why don't you just say hello to everyone in China in Chinese so we can learn a little bit as well.
大家好，我们在巴西这一站，我们现在正在进行排位赛的比赛，希望大家继续关注，然后为我们加油。
What did you say, please?
Yeah, I just say we are here in Brazil, Sao Paulo, and we are doing the qualifying at the moment, and hopefully everybody can support us and keep watching also for the tomorrow race.
Okay, amazing. Some Chinese lesson for us guys, and good luck for you.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Letitia there. Marcin Qua currently in this qualification session, 8th fastest, 1 minute 43.333, 7/10 of a second away from the top of the field. There, the two BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa drivers pouring over at the data. Red Bull Girolamo that you see on your screen. Mikel Azcona that we saw just a few moments ago. There is Mikel having a little bit of a debrief, an opportunity, a rare opportunity in quali to be able to get out of the car and have a little chat and sort of feed back your experiences behind the wheel thus far. So far for Hyundai, it's not been a satisfactory qualified. Azcona down all the way down in 19th position. He's not set a time that's really representative. Girolamo 9th position. A more competent time, but still not the ultimate pace I think that Girolamo expects to get out of that Hyundai Elantra N TCR. Weather still beautiful here in Sao Paulo. Look at that fantastic view, a very vibrant 24-hour city is Sao Paulo. The Interlagos racetrack, of course, needs no introduction. It's been around in Formula One in various guises for a number of years. But at this moment in time, it plays host to the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, the TCR South American Series. Repair work still underway on the entrance to the Center S. Great stuff by the marshals.
After
down
Interlagos,
there.
We're heading to your country, Sebastian Santiago Urrutia. How is it for you to bring the championship to your country once again? You raced for the first time there last year, and now we're going again.
Yeah, very happy. It's always a good thing to have a world championship in our country, especially with FIA. So, yeah, very happy and yeah, happy to be back in South America as well. First time for me in Interlagos here with the TCR. So, enjoying the weekend and yeah, wanted to go for quali. So I hope this red flag goes away quick and we can put the lap together. And car is working very well. So let's see where we end up.
I saw you talking to your team just now. Of course, we had a red flag going on. We still have to finish the Q1. What were you talking about?
Yeah, it's just everyone. Hey, you got a chance to do a few corners with the new tires, and yeah, I was already in sector 3 when I got the red flag, so it was a shame because I was going to be up there in the front. So I hope now we can get a clean go. And yeah, we were just talking about how the car feels and to see if we will want to do some changes. But my car is working well. We were fastest in the shakedown and fastest in FP1. So I just need to put the lap together, and I hope I get the chance. I mean, it's many drivers in our position as well that they got the red flag. So yeah, let's see. Still 9 minutes to go plus Q2. So I think it will be okay.
Can you just talk about your expectations for the rest of this weekend in Spanish right now, since we have so many people from your country, from Argentina, from Peru, Chile?
Bueno, obviamente poder hacer una buena clasificación, que se vaya a la bandera roja. Venía ya en el sector 3 para cerrar la vuelta y bueno, no pude cerrar la vuelta, pero bueno, ya pusimos goma nueva. Así que esperando que salga la bandera roja y poder pasar a la Q2, que es lo importante, y después pelear por la pole. El auto funciona bien. Quedamos lo más rápido ayer en el shakedown y en la primera prueba hoy también, así que será difícil. Esteban también está muy rápido y bueno, Jan, mi compañero, también, así que va a ser una pelea muy peleada, digamos, por la pole. Hay que ver los Hyundai también donde están, pero bueno, me siento cómodo, así que esperemos poder hacer una buena vuelta y estar adelante.
Muchísimas gracias.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Letitia. Speaking with, of course, Santiago Urrutia. Still no news. Galid Osman there, you can see talking to one of the officials, just trying to get a bit of information as to when we're going to be going racing again. Bad damage, of course, to the barriers, courtesy of that contact. It's not the work of a moment. Safety is always paramount in these situations. It's all about making sure that this Interlagos Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache circuit is safe for our TCR touring car drivers. That's always the most important thing, and we will not go racing until everybody's absolutely satisfied we are in a go position 1. Osmond, one of the few drivers electing to stay in the helmet and hands device. He's got out of the car for a little bit of fresh air. It's winter, of course, here in Brazil, so the temperatures nowhere near as hot as they could potentially be should we have come in these summer months. So it is a little bit more bearable for our European drivers that are perhaps a little bit less used to these kind of conditions. But nevertheless, the heat sink in these cars, the pressure building, it makes it all the more difficult for these drivers.
Y respetan al de izquierda que se encolumna en el carril rápido.
Está bien. Ellos faltan a la parte en lo que le decimos que ellos tenemos que avisar.
And officials
nosotros no le avisamos que saliera.
Dissecting exactly what's happening and what comes next. Look at that though, that's some good repair work being done so far by the Marshall teams. The circuit safety inspector, of course, will be down there very soon as well, just checking everything is above board. But that looks significantly better than the last time we had cameras on this particular part of the racetrack. So hopefully we're not a million miles away now from being able to get out there again and start and finish even these final 9 minutes, 13 seconds worth of qualification. Plenty of analysis being undertaken. This will be fascinating, in fact, to see if this short break in proceedings aids any of these drivers somewhat. They've already had, for the majority of drivers, in fact all of drivers, look at the time and screen, they've already had their one throw of the dice, one quick lap in qualification conditions, so they've got a good feel for what this Interlagos circuit is giving them grip-wise this afternoon here in Brazil, and it'll be vital to use this small break in proceedings. We have another interview.
Nestor Girolami from Argentina. He was the runner-up in 2022 for the World Tour. And now you are P9. You were just looking at some data. What were you analyzing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult condition because we were struggling during free practice. Not easy for us. Yesterday we started to have some issues with the grip, but now it's looking very tight at upfield. I think we are aiming for the reverse grid, basically. I was looking the data to try to figure out what we can be improved for the next session, and this break of 20 minutes gives me the possibility to jump out of the car, look at the data, speak with the engineer, maybe do some changes, and hopefully we are in the top 10.
So as you can see, this gap was positive for some and negative for others. So it was pretty positive for you to be able to make the necessary changes.
Yeah, considering how it was the first stint, I think it was positive because I was struggling a little bit and now I could check the data and we can have some changes on the car. So let's see at the end of Quali 1 if it was positive, but let's keep the momentum now.
Okay, thank you. I think it's time for the drivers to go back to the cars. I see everyone moving and I'll go back with you.
Thank you, Leticia and Rafael Suzuki that we're looking at there. So Beppu Girolami just talking exactly about what we were speaking about a few moments ago. This is a break, it's an opportunity to analyse data. Girolami struggling a little bit in the car, according to him, in this qualifying session. So this is a perfect opportunity to get out and analyse the data, make the changes that you need to make or that you think you need to make to put yourself in the best position possible. And of course, very interesting there from Beppu Girolami, mentioning that he's going for the reverse grid. This is a tactic we've seen from the Argentine several times this year. He's not interested in the out-and-out fastest Q2 time to get pole position for race 1. He's interested getting into that top 12 and essentially getting into the top 10 when Q2 starts, or finishes even. And if he can be in that top 10, he can benefit for the reverse grid. 10th position will get you pole for race 2. Very difficult tightrope to walk though, because if you're 11th quickest in Q2, you're going to be 11th for both races. It is vital to balance as best as possible the need to go quickly and the need to use strategic
I thought everyone was
tactics.
going back into the car. It's not happening yet. It was a false alarm, but we do see the two cars involved in the accident already here in the boxes, and I will talk to Rafael Suzuki. He has the best position right now in Q1. You were 4th, and how it's been this challenge of racing with the World Tour.
Well, it's already difficult to race against the South America guys, but obviously with the World Tour guys, things gets really tough. They are quicker, we know that. Last year I did one of the World Tour races in South America and we were like a second and a half off. But well, it seems that even if the track is bigger, we are a bit closer this year. Last year I was with Link & Co, and this year I am with Peugeot. So yeah, there are 11 World Tour cars. If we can get one in the middle of them, that would be already, you know, a good position to start.
Okay, but you do have one advantage. You raced here for a long time. You also raced for Stock Car Brazil, also TCR South America, in Brazil, Banco BRB, during the whole year. So how can you use this advantage to be successful during the weekend?
Sure. I mean, it's good to know every little detail of the track. I've been racing here for like, I don't know, last 10, 12 years, different cars. Obviously, TCR has a different way to drive. It's a front-wheel drive against the stock car, the GT3. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm trying to use that obviously as an advantage to try to minimize this gap. Hopefully, I can use that even in the race. You know, place to overtake, to defend. You know, it's a long circuit comparing to the others. So I mean, hopefully this at the end of the day will help. Yeah.
Agora é hora de você dar oi para todo mundo que está assistindo em português, não só no Brasil, mas também em Portugal e outros países, e explicar um pouquinho do que está acontecendo, como é que está sendo para você esse fim de semana.
Correr com o Mundial, sem dúvida, é um desafio a mais, né? O South America já tem um nível alto, então eu já venho correndo esses últimos 2 anos, mas olha, é difícil, as equipes são muito estruturadas, né? Eles têm um plano de teste agressivos, apoios diretos de montadoras, Mas assim que é bom, né? A gente quer correr contra os melhores pilotos do mundo da categoria, então para nós é um privilégio. Eu acho que esse formato do TCR, né, de fazer o campeonato mundial passar pelos campeonatos intercontinentais, é uma boa experiência para que a gente cresça como categoria, né? Hoje você vê 28 pilotos de, não sei quanto, talvez 10 países, e Interlagos, o campeonato FIA. Então isso mostra que em 4 anos o TCR já ganhou uma atração que já dá aquele friozaço na barriga antes da classificação, antes de uma corrida.
Olha, você está a 4,98, né? Quase 5 décimos apenas do líder. Então, só para te dar esse recadinho, caso você não saiba.
Eu sei que está perto, mas agora com a bandeira vermelha, infelizmente é um acidente. Tem muita gente ainda para usar os pneus novos, e isso dá uma diferença aqui em Interlagos. Então, sinceramente, entre os 5 não é bem a nossa realidade, mas é bom beliscar de vez em quando e quem sabe aí a gente consegue ir para o Q2 e fazer um bom quali.
É isso, gente. Esse é o KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour com 10 nacionalidades.
So I am hearing that we are expecting to receive an update as to when we can go green flag again in around 15 minutes time. So we are hopefully closing towards the conclusion of the barrier repairs and everything that is happening out on the circuit. It's a great opportunity, in fact, to say a big thank you to the Marshall teams around the world, not just here at Interlagos, not just in South America, but all around the world. We could not go racing if it wasn't for the team of volunteers in the various Orange Armies of racetracks globally. So from us all, from myself and everybody involved, a big thank you to everybody that makes it possible for us to go racing safely and efficiently here at Interlagos and all throughout the world. It's great work that they do, great work that they're doing down at the CNRS as well to get this track back in to fit order to go racing, or qualifying should I say, hopefully in around 15 minutes or so's time when we get an update as to how the barrier repairs are currently ongoing. It did look last time we saw them as though we were in a position where we're not a million miles away, I think it's fair to say, from going green again. But I'm sure it's a good opportunity for us all to build our tension a little bit, to build the excitement a little bit ahead of the last 9 minutes and 13 seconds of Q1. And to remind you, what is Q1? Q1 is all about getting into that top 12. The 12 fastest drivers will progress to Q2 to fight for pole position and the reverse grid pole position. 13th on down will start in that position for both races. If you're 13th in Q1, you will start race 1 in 13th position and race 2 in 13th position. The man currently on that 12th place bubble is Lincoln Co-Cyan racing driver Jan Elishay. Second in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour standings. Elishay, a winner last time out.
I'm here with one more Argentinian. We have many Argentinians on the grids today. Esteban Guerrieri. He's been on the grid of TCR in different divisions since 2018. And you are the first one, you're leading the Q1 right now, but your difference to the second one, it's very tight, right?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of tenths there, which I think many drivers with the red flags and also with some laps disallowed because of track limits, they didn't put the lap together, because when you see the sector times from the others, they are much closer to me. So yeah, it's only the start of the qualifying. Unfortunately, there was this crash from Maglione, and but yeah, I went to see him and he's okay, so that's a good sign. But yeah, now they are repairing the track, so yeah, let's see if we can maintain this position. But obviously, the more important is the Q2, which is the one that counts for the championship.
How is it going to be to go back to the track after being stopped for so long? Now you don't have the tire temperature anymore. What can be done to minimize the damage?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite tricky always with the front wheel drives, because you normally need to heat up the fronts to then put them in the rear, because the rear tires, obviously there is no traction there, so the tires, they get a long time to warm up. So there is 9 minutes and something in the clock. I think this will be enough time to go out to warm up the fronts and then put them in the rears, the tires. So yeah, it's always tricky, and these little details about how you work the tire, the temperature of the tire, this is the key to perform with the car, you know. So yeah, we are trying to be on top of these details. As you say in the beginning, I have many years experience in this class. The team is doing also a great job, so I'm really pleased with how we are working, and yeah, every detail counts. So yeah, we try to keep alert on that.
Since I started this interview mixing up English and Spanish, let's speak Spanish right now, porque tenemos muchos amigos de Argentina, de tu país, asistiéndonos, y hablar un poquito de esta cuestión de los neumáticos, de la temperatura y de volver a la pista ahora después de tantos minutos en español.
Sí, vamos a hacer el clic ahí a ver si sale. Pero sí, lo que le comentaba, que el coche de turismo, que es tracción delantera, calienta mucho los neumáticos delanteros, pero muy poco los traseros. Entonces, normalmente lo que se hace es salir a pista para calentar los neumáticos adelante y después entrar a boxes y ponerlos atrás. Así ya quedan calientes y queda un balance en el auto lo más lógico posible, para después poner neumáticos nuevos adelante y sí, salir a tirar la vuelta, ¿no? Pero bueno, como les decía, son muchos detalles juntos, en la temperatura de los neumáticos, en cómo se trabaja en la puesta a punto para que el neumático funcione lo mejor posible en la vuelta de clasificación. Y bueno, todos esos detalles se trabajan junto con el equipo, ingenieros, mecánicos, y tratar de estar en todo eso al momento de clasificar. Para esas 2-3 décimas te pueden hacer una gran diferencia en posición, ¿no? Pero bueno, haciendo digo, un buen trabajo junto con el equipo. Otro punto es que el sol está empezando a bajar, así que esperemos que no moleste a la hora de salir de nuevo. Pero bueno, eso va a ser igual para todos y tratar de adaptarse rápido es lo importante.
One more question, one more thing that Esteban has called attention is the position of the sun that's already going down, and it will be more difficult for you guys, maybe.
Yeah, it's almost 4 o'clock here. Obviously, we are in the winter, and yeah, around 5 yesterday it started to be a bit of a problem. We don't know how long will take for the track to get repaired, but yeah, I mean, if it bothers, then probably your visor down, and there you go.
Okay, good luck in the rest of the qualifying.
Interesting observation there from Esteban Gurrieri as we look at a bust of the great man himself, Ayrton Senna. Of course, 3-time Formula One world champion, and some might say, myself included, the greatest driver ever to have hit a racetrack. But Gurrieri, very interesting comments he's making there about the positioning of the sun. The longer that we're under red flag conditions, the later that we start qualification again, the harder it's going to be for these drivers to be able to see, because the sun's dropping in the sky. It's winter in Brazil, of course, and we've seen it gets dark very quickly in these parts. So there's going to be a lot of drivers that are compromising their vision with a low sun in the sky, and I think that's going to be very fascinating to see if that has an impact. Of course, the track is ever changing. The sun is baking. The ambient temperature is reducing as well. So the grip that our drivers experienced when Q1 began will be very, very different indeed when we restart again. What's getting on to be around a 50-minute break between when that red flag took place. Of course, there's contact between two cars, much barrier damage, as Manuel Casella that we're looking at there is having a little conversation with his team as well. Manuel Casella did a very, very, very good job last time that the TCR, KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour visited South America at the La Pedrera Park circuit in Argentina and the El Pinar circuit where we're heading to next in Uruguay. Very, very good driver, P11 in El Pinar 2023 race 1 for the Argentine driver, the Uruguayan driver, sorry. Not quite the result I think that he would have been expected and that the pace showed over the course of the weekend. So Casella in the new spec Honda Civic now, of course, the latest FL5 TCR. We'll be hoping for a big qualification result once we hopefully get green flag running in the not too distant future. The retaining barriers are just being bolted back into place now. The tyre stacks obviously are all to order. Everybody seems happy with that one. Now it's a case of putting the rubber matting over the cross, make sure that everything stays in position should we have another bit of contact. So hopefully we're not too far away now.
And I'm here with Nelson Piquet Jr. He's one of the most important drivers of our time in Brazil. He's racing for stock car, former F1 driver, as you know. And Piquet, in your first time racing with the World Tour with TCR, you already have a red flag as long as this one. How is it for you?
Well, I mean, it's part of the game, you know. It could happen to anybody, to any kind of series. But it's okay. I have time, just waiting, and can't wait to get back on track. The car is much better than what it was in practice, so I'm enjoying. I'm having fun. So I can't wait for them to fix the guardrail and for us to go fast again.
Now, there are some challenges of being stopped for a little bit of time. You have all the thing involving the tire temperature. Now it's colder than before. And also you have the sun going down, which it could be more difficult for you to see the track and everything. What can you comment on that?
It's the same for everybody. So I know I have less experience with these cars, and there is a lot of difference of warming up the front tires and the rear tires because of the front wheel traction over here, but everybody's in the same situation, so I don't think anybody's going to have more advantage. Maybe who has more experience is going to know how to warm up more the tires, but I'm not worried. I mean, I'm here to learn, and I'm sure we're going to do a good job, and yeah, just here to learn and obviously to be quick, but we're all in the same game, so it's going to be difficult for everybody.
E agora vamos fazer um pouquinho dessa entrevista em português, né? Porque nós também temos brasileiros. Como é que está sendo então essa primeira experiência sua, esse primeiro qualifying?
Olha, tá indo muito bem. A gente virou uma volta aqui agora, que eu fechei no dash, que deu a bandeira vermelha, tipo, poucos metros antes de dar na chegada. E aí, a partir da vermelha, eles param a cronometragem. Deu e passou, e eu virei um tempo que era para ser, na geral, acho que segundo ou terceiro. Lógico que tem muitas pessoas que ainda estavam melhorando volta, né? Mas melhorou muito do treino para cá, então uma evolução minha de se ajustar com o carro também evoluiu um pouquinho. Então tá legal. Enfim, estou aprendendo muito, né? Outro estilo de pilotagem, mas estou me divertindo e não vejo a hora de fazer uma largada parada, que eu não lembro nem a última vez que foi que fiz uma largada parada. Talvez só as 500 milhas de kart, que não era nem parada, né? Estilo Le Mans.
Bom, a sua diferença foi de 0,960 nessa volta que você falou. E boa sorte voltando para o Q1.
Obrigado. Até.
So let's take a look at some highlights of the opening portion of Q1 qualification here at the Interlagos circuit. It's part of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, TCR South America and TCR Brazil. Fabian Yannis-Nuone got a little bit out of shape in the early parts of qualification. He did well to gather the car back together again. Ted Bjork practicing overtaking. That's going to be a move that's very popular indeed when we get going for round 7 and 8 tomorrow. Bebu Girolamo, a former TC 2000 champion on his home soil in Argentina, happy to be back in South America, the 129, doing a very good job thus far, although 9th position is not exactly where he'll be looking to be. The Lincoln Co Cyan Racing squad in a bit of trouble. Jan Elishay all the way down in 12th position. And then for the local talent, car number 28, Galin Osman, having a solid run thus far. 10th place for the Brazilian driver, 2 places clear of the dreaded drop zone that'll fail to take you through to Q2. Galin Osman using local experience of the Interlagos circuit to good effect. He is one of 3 drivers, currently in the top 12 from TCR South America. That is Rafael Suzuki in 4th, Rafael Race in 5, then Galin Osman in 10th, and in 11th position, Nelson Piquet Jr. that we spoke to a little bit ago with Letitia down on pit lane. Opportunity during this break for the teams and the drivers to make amendments to the setup on their cars, to analyse the data and to get themselves in a position to have the best possible result. And the reason we had said red flag is, of course, this relatively innocuous bit of contact that led to quite devastating effects. It is big damage to the retaining barriers. Enrique Maglione is the car that came off much worse in that particular piece of contact. Both drivers, Maglione included, are absolutely fine though, and there we see Enrique heading off into the safety medical car and over to the paddock. Marcos Herrigueras, that we're looking at there, was the other driver involved in that particular incident. Marcos himself is also absolutely fine, although little less said about the condition of both cars, the better at this juncture. Rafael Reis, Dusan Borkovic, two drivers very much in contention in the opening portion of this qualifying. Borkovic suggesting he's not entirely comfortable with his GOAT Racing Honda Civic, but still the big Serbian driver up in third position. Rafael Reis was briefly at the top of the timesheets. He's currently in fifth place in the Cupra, the Brazilian 0.6 of a second away from fastest man, Esteban Gurrieri. There is Nelson Piquet Jr. that we spoke about with the iconic helmet, and just behind him it is one of the most iconic drivers in South America. It is Matthias Rossi. Rossi having a difficult qualifying thus far. 17th quickest for the Argentine, the Toyota driver. 1.4, nearly 1.5 seconds away from Esteban Gurrieri. Rafael Suzuki, interesting to see him in the Peugeot 308 rather than the purple Lincoln Co that we saw in 2023. But the little Peugeot still belying its age and doing a great job in the hands of Rafael Suzuki. He's in fourth position so far. The next Peugeot is Pedro Cardoso, down in 14th place. More slow motion shots of Brazilian driver Rafael Reis. Beautiful images here from the Interlagos circuit. There is Galid Osman, a little bit balked by the Toyota, but no problems. Fontana getting out of the way. Osman continuing on his merry charge. Plenty of drivers in this field sporting new cars from 2023. A few drivers, a few new names as well for the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. Drivers that we did not see last season. It's great to have an extended field today.
Yeah, I'm here with Rafael Reis. He's the leader of the championship in TCR Brazil, Banco BRB. He's fifth right now on Q1. And Rafael, you've raced last year already with the TCR World Tour in Alpinar. How it's been for you in this opportunity, the level of the drivers and everything?
So it's been amazing to driving with the drivers that compete the whole year in the World Tour. So here we are racing home, Interlagos. So let's see what's gonna happen, but I feel that we can pass to Q2, maybe.
Okay, you know this circuit very well. You raced here many times in different categories, in different divisions. You think you have a little bit of advantage in that sense?
With these guys, it's impossible to have any advantage. So, you know, it's better to race in home, but advantage, no.
Ok, so can you... Vamos falar em português agora um pouquinho? Explica um pouquinho aí de como é que está sendo, então, correr com esses pilotos, né, de nível mundial do KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour.
Tem sido bem difícil, né? É uma bagagem tanto das equipes quanto dos pilotos com mais capacidade de treinos, mais datas para treinar, são mais corridas. Então é sempre um desafio recebê-los aqui, por mais que a gente esteja correndo em casa. Mas esse ano a gente está conseguindo ali batalhar um pouquinho melhor, agora estamos em quinto, estamos ali no meio. A gente sempre termina, né, com uma sensação que a gente poderia ter feito melhor, mas vamos ver, acho que todo mundo vai ter uma nova oportunidade. A gente está esperando a pista voltar agora, mais um out, acho que todo mundo no Q1, para que a gente consiga ver quem realmente vai passar e, bom, estou confiante.
Bom, você é um cara que é muito agressivo, muito técnico na pista, né? Então você pode explicar um pouquinho como é que vai afetar essa questão de ficar parado durante tanto tempo, né? Por conta dessa bandeira vermelha, e agora voltar com 10 minutos de Q1?
Vai ser difícil. A gente aqui no TCR, a gente tem uma dificuldade grande, que é a questão de temperatura e desgaste de pneu. Então, aquecer o pneu traseiro não é uma tarefa fácil. Então, normalmente, a gente sai com o pneu que vamos usar atrás na frente para aquecer ele e depois jogar. Quando a gente vai no Q1 normal, sem paralisação, a gente consegue fazer de uma maneira muito boa. Agora a gente vai ter que sair rápido. Cada um vai optar por sua estratégia, mas eu acho que a maioria vai acabar saindo para esquentar o pneu traseiro, parar, voltar atrás, botar um zero na frente. E vai ter no máximo 2 voltas. Então, realmente, não dá mais para errar. Acho que todo mundo vai ter mais uma chance somente.
Ok, obrigado.
Rafael Reis there, having a quick word before we restart qualifying. Rafael, of course, is leading the TCR Brazil Banco BRB standings, 1 point ahead of Pedro Cardozo, and is third in the TCR South America standings, just 9 points in arrears of Juan Angel Rosso in the Toyota Corolla. So big opportunity for Rafael Reis, not only to get a good result in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, but also bank some solid points for himself in his own respective national championships. I'm hearing, provisionally, we're looking at a restart time of 16:15 local time. So that is 10 minutes time is the provisional restart time for qualification. You can see on your screen a couple of the drivers starting to smooch their way over to their cars, get their helmets and hands devices back on, get themselves embedded in their vehicles, and hopefully we go again for 9 minutes and 13 seconds in qualification 1 here at the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour at the Interlagos Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache circuit. This is, of course, rounds 7 and 8 of the 2024 KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. Last time out, we're at Mid-Ohio in the United States. A couple of very dramatic touring car races indeed for our drivers. Ted Bjork won race 1 from Norbert Michaelis, and then it was Jan Elishay and Ma Qinghua, the top 2 in the second race of the day. Will it be another Cheyenne Racing Link & Co benefit? Can Mr. Consistency 2024 spec Norbert Michaelis find a little bit of pace in the back of the pocket and challenge for the race victory? And will the trio of GOAT Racing Honda Civics, currently 1, 2 and 3 in qualifying, be able to carry that pace through to the conclusion of Q1 and into the all-important Q2 that sets the grid and gives the points for the championship? All these questions and more we will be answering, hopefully, in around 10 minutes time or so. The message has certainly got over to the team managers. I can see several drivers having a good look about getting back into their race cars and preparing to go qualifying once again. That's the Palladino Racing Toyota Corolla, Juan Angel Rosso currently behind the wheel of that machine, the Argentine driver. Very competitive driver, very nice chap as well, it has to be said. He'll be looking for a little bit more pace coming into the last Q2. He's definitely a driver who will be targeting a top 12 result in this Q1 session. Pedro Cardozo, that's a little Peugeot 308 that we see there. It's remarkable, the size difference between the Peugeot and the other cars. It just looks like such a compact little race car. It's been around for quite a while in the world of TCR competition, but still very firmly showing itself to be a competitive proposition. Over in Australia, of course, the GRM squad, Ben Barguana, having a good season behind the wheel of that car. And then here in South America, Rafael Suzuki, the quickest of the local drivers thus far, in 4th position so far, 0.5 of a second away from Esteban Gurrieri at the front of the field. 28 cars, 28 drivers, 10 nationalities, 7 manufacturers and 9 models on display on the racetrack this weekend. In rude health is a TCR touring car, the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. It's fantastic to be back again with our South American friends here at the Interlagos circuit. Final few preparations then for our drivers. Anybody who drives a racing car will well know, last thing you do is put your gloves on. You want to minimise heat soak as much as possible, especially in these close-top touring cars. It gets incredibly hot in the cockpit indeed, and especially when you're racing under the wind to the sun here in Brazil around this beautiful Interlagos circuit. Every driver bar none have waxed lyrical about how they're enjoying being in Interlagos and enjoying being at this particular track. It's fabulous to see the World Tour have moved here to Interlagos for 2024, and I'm sure despite the unseasonably long delay that we're having, it's going to produce some absolutely fantastic sporting memories over the course of this weekend. And I implore you all, if you're watching on the TCR TV YouTube channel or wherever it is that you're watching around the world, put a little date in your diary, pencil it in. In fact, don't pencil it in, write it with pen, just one you're not going to want to miss. Racing tomorrow, Sunday at 16:10 CEST for race 1, 19:40 CEST for race 2. You're not going to want to miss those. They're going to be absolutely spectacular. And this unusual and disrupted qualifying session will certainly help build the tension and potentially even give us a bit of a mixed up grid heading in to that first race tomorrow afternoon. It's a brief look that we're seeing there of the Cobra Racing Team Corolla of Thiago Vivacqua. He's another driver that's new to the world of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. Having a look down the timing screens, 21st quickest for the Brazilian thus far, 1.9 seconds away from Esteban Gurrieri. That car potentially has a little bit more pace inside it for Vivacqua. He's going to be trying very hard indeed, I am sure, to at bare minimum break into that top 20. Not an easy proposition, it has to be said. But I dare say that each and every one of these drivers is using this as an opportunity to measure themselves against international level touring car drivers. It's a fantastic way that the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour operates. We visit different circuits all around the world, join different national championships. It's great to see new series, new faces, new names testing themselves against the World Tour drivers. And I'm sure that you'll agree with me at home. I think it's a very different way to go motor racing, but a very, very enjoyable way to do it indeed. I know that our KUMHO FIA World Tour drivers very much enjoy the challenge of these guest appearances. We've raced in several different championships over the last couple of years. We came into being in 2023 as the KUMHO TCR World Tour. We're now FIA accredited for 2024. And it is absolutely fantastic to see. We're racing in China, we race at Macau, we're here in South America, we raced in Vallelonga to start the season, moving on to Marrakesh, Mid-Ohio in the United States, North America last time out as well. It was absolutely fantastic. It really is a global championship, a global platform, and it's an opportunity for our World Tour drivers and our guests, like we have with South America and Brazil this weekend, to put themselves in the shop window. And alas, is that the sound of touring car engines turned on that I hear in the background? It sounds very much like somebody had a sneaky turn of the ignition, and that can only mean one thing. We are edging ever closer to that all-important green flag to go back out there and complete this Q1 session that will potentially go down in history as the longest touring car Q1 in the whole world. Here in Brazil, well over an hour now. The interruption, courtesy of some contact earlier in the session that led to Marcos Regueiras, and of course, who's the other driver that was involved in that one? Now, Enrique Maglione. Maglione ended in the barriers on the entry to the Center S. Big damage to the circuit infrastructure. Great work from everybody at Interlagos to get that one repaired and get us in a go position to go racing again. Maglione, of course, and Regueiras both without injury following that bit of contact, which is the most important news, I'm sure you will all agree. But that was then. This is now. We have got just a couple of minutes to go, and then we're back in action again. Restart time will be 16:15 local time. That is just 3 minutes from now. Then the pit lane will open, the green flag will wave. 28 or 26 touring cars now will head out for 9 minutes 13 seconds in order to secure their top 12, hopefully for them, position and progression through to Q2. 13th on down, of course, will have that grid slot for races 1 and 2 tomorrow afternoon. So the name of the game for many of these drivers is getting that top 12. Keep yourself in the conversation for the reverse grid pole position in race 2, round 8 tomorrow. There you go then, hip hip hooray. You can see it at the top of your screen, session will be restarted at 16:15 local. It is official. That means it's happening, folks. Don't go anywhere. If you just nipped off for a refreshment break, get back to your screen ASAP, because we're a few moments away from going green again and watching TCR specification touring cars pushed to the absolute limit by the best touring car drivers in the world at one of the finest racetracks in all of South America, the Interlagos Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A famed circuit, got an iconic painting of a certain Ayrton Senna. T1 named after him, of course, downhill, left, right, left again chicane. It is an iconic venue as you could wish to visit, and it's absolutely sensational to see touring cars driven in anger on this beautiful 2.677 mile ribbon of tarmac. Just 1 minute to go now. Every driver is in position. They're all in their cars. In a few moments' time, the concerto of TCR touring car engines will rise into the air. The fans in the stands will recognise that we're about to go. Green flag again. No doubt rising from their seats to get a best glimpse of the best touring car drivers in the world navigating their way around this sensational piece of racing history. Rafael Race, he'll be hoping for a good qualification session. 5th position, we are go here in Interlagos. It is time, at long last, to continue our qualification session. 26 TCR specification touring cars fighting almost as one to be the first out off the pit lane. They want to get on the track, circulate as quickly as possible. Professor Esteban Gurrieri mentioning earlier in the show there'll be just about enough time to get round, do a lap, get back in pit lane, swap those front tyres onto the back to do a heat cycle, give you the grip that you need in the rear of the car, put the riggers on the front, and then go out in anger to set the lap time that you need to set to find where you're going to start the 2 races tomorrow on the grid. There is the Toyota giving himself a little bit of breathing space. Look at this gaggle of cars though. This is not optimal at all for any of these drivers. Of course, it's not going to be too much of a problem. The vast majority, I would say, of this field are going to come straight back down pit lane and swap their tyres around. So this is not particularly holding anybody up when it comes to preparation laps or when it comes to any kind of flyers. Almost everybody, I would imagine, will peel down pit lane. There may be somebody that elects to go for an early push lap. Roll the dice a little bit if you're not one of the drivers that is traditionally expecting to find yourself in the top 12. You may as well take a chance, make use of the green, make use of the space that you could have on the racetrack and go set your time. Beautiful drone shots, by the way, here at Interlagos. Fantastic production quality, the TCR South America team. Absolutely adore those shots, tracking the cars around this sensational circuit. Interlagos being, of course, one of the best tracks, really, in South America, if not the world, and tailor-made for touring car racing. I absolutely cannot wait for tomorrow to come, but let's get qualifying done and dusted first, as we see a few drivers electing not to go down pit lane. That is Matheus Rossi that we're looking at now, so he's elected to go straight for a fast lap. Look how loose the rear end on that Corolla is, almost wanting to swap ends through the T1 chicane, the Senna S downhill corner. Difficult section of corners we've seen all weekend long in a TCR touring car. Matheus Rossi immediately recognises there's not a lot of grip in these tyres, weaving at speed. Try and put a little bit of heat into the KUMHO rubber, give himself a little bit more grip, a little bit more confidence to push hard. Rossi all the way down in 17th at this moment in time, so he's got a lot of time to find as things stand if he wants to move himself up the running order. There is John Philippi swapping tyres round for the Volcano Motorsports car, just a single Volcano Motorsports machine this weekend. John Philippi representing the Spanish squad in the 4 rings in the Audi, one of the, in fact, the only Audi in the field this season. The KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour this weekend in Interlagos as well. None of the local drivers running the German machinery this weekend. Rafael Suzuki, same principle here in the Peugeot. Swap those tyres round and then get out to do your lap. Nelson Piquet Jr. locking, snatching a break. That's not going to help his overall cause at this moment in time. Piquet very far down the running order as things stand. 11th position. He'll be hoping for a little bit more in the final 5.5 minutes, just over. There's absolutely nothing you can do now as a touring car driver other than plant your foot firmly to the floor, the line of least resistance to the flag. Will Piquet improve his time? He's on a 43.583 at this moment in time. There is the Brazilian over the line. 9.9 tenths per second he needs to find. He does find some of them though. Moves up in a 6, does Piquet, so that is a good time. Santiago Urrutia going very quickly as well. Purple, sector 3 for the Cyan Racing Lincoln co-driver. So Urrutia on a hot lap. In fact, John Philippi, my apologies, that's Philippi with a final sector quick lap as well. John Philippi doing good job. Ma moves up in a 3rd position as well. Chinese driver Ma Xinghua up into 3rd. Urrutia up in a 2nd. That final sector helps him no end Esteban Gurrieri still the quickest driver on the grid as things stand. Fastest sector 1 for Gurrieri. He's on his pitting lap though now, so he's coming down pit lane. 42.623, currently the quickest time. And there is another car off the racetrack. That is one of the Toyotas, thankfully facing the right direction. And the sort of the end of the centre S section off corners. Hopefully we don't stall the car. No, it looks like we are slowly creeping forward. Let's hope that that Corolla can get up to racing speed. Yes, there we go. We managed to avoid any kind of yellow flag intervention. But that is the danger of having so little grip on the rear. Diego Gutierrez. So we see there pirouetting the Toyota. And there is Gutierrez' car, pretty much unhurt from that particular manoeuvre, apart from a little bit of a confident knock. Looking at the qualifying times though, Jan Aleshay up in the 4th position. That's a good move from the French driver. He's taken himself out of the drop zone, out of the danger zone, for being outside of the top 12 for Q3. Piquet, fastest overall sector 2 for the Brazilian, down in 11th place. So this is a quick lap from Nelson Piquet as well. He's on a bit of a charge. We're watching now, big slipstream from Santiago Urrutia. Urrutia in 2nd position. Can teammate Aleshay drag him all the way down this long start finish straight? Urrutia will be very grateful indeed. This is big. 3-lap time for the Uruguayan driver. They cross the line. Aleshay quickest, Urrutia in 2nd place. Gurrieri drops all the way down to 3rd. No, but Michaelis in 4th from Marcinkoir. Marco Butti currently 6th fastest. Rosso in 7th position from Borkovic. Piquet 9th, Suzuki 10th. Rafael Race 11th. Ted Bjork is the driver on the cusp at this moment in time in 12th. And then Mikel Afkona that we're looking at there. Fresh set of boots for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa driver. But Mikel Afkona currently stands is the first of those that won't make it through to Q2. Just like teammate Bebo Girolami behind. So big pressure for the Spanish and the Argentinian driver respectively, as we're taking another look now. Rafael Race number 77 on the car window. Rafael Race though currently he's in 11th position, fastest personal sector 2. Will it be enough to move him up the running order? 6.5 tenths is what he needs to find. Plays our current fastest driver Jan Aleshay as we watch now. Race coming over the line. Will he improve? Esteban Gurrieri is on a good lap as well. Rafael Race does improve, moves up into 5th position. Gurrieri fastest overall, 1st sector, personal fastest 1st and 2nd, and 3rd sector. Gurrieri 2nd position as things stand at this moment in time. It's very tight at the top of the field, 2.5 tenths of a second covering our top 4. 53 hundredths of a second covering our top 3. As close as you like. We're looking now at Rosso. Can Rosso improve? He's 8th position, gets a good draft from Michaelis ahead. Juan Angel Rosso though, only good enough for 8th position as things stand. Not quite quick enough on his last tour of circuit, a 43.5 versus a 43 flat for the Argentinian driver. Who else is going quickly at this moment in time? Nobody looks to be on a particularly sparkling lap with 1 minute 23 seconds left in the clock. Jan Aleshay, Santiago Urrutia and Esteban Gurrieri are all down pit lane at this moment in time. They'll hopefully get some new tyres on and have another throw of the dice in a few moments' time. Marcinkoir, 4th quickest. Personal fastest, 2nd and 3rd sector last time around for Marcinkoir. So he's got a little bit of pace on board that Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machine. The BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team are the ones that need to find the pace though at this moment in time. Mikel Afkona all the way down in 15th. Bebo Girolami that we're looking at now. 17th position for Girolami. Can he find any extra time in the tank? He's going to need it. 36 seconds left on the clock, and he does. 7th place for the Argentinian driver. That moves Rafael Suzuki down into 13th place, with Nelson Piquet Jr. moves up into the top 12. Rafael Suzuki, as things stand, will be the last of the drivers that don't make it through to Q2. That was not in the playbook for the Brazilian driver. He's got a lot of work to do, does Suzuki, to close that gap down to Nelson Piquet ahead. Ted Bjork, overall quickest. Jan Aleshay currently in 2nd position. Urrutia 3rd. Gurrieri in 4th. Marco Butti just moves up into 6th place as well. 2.8 tenths of a second away from the quickest time. That leaves Michaelis in 7th from race, and Girolami, and then that is a good move up the order for Suzuki. Rafael Suzuki moves from 13th to 9th. Almost immediately though, Dusan Borkovic goes quickest. Dusan Borkovic with a monster final sector, really strong final sector from the Serbian driver. Was not a special lap up to that point, but a monster last sector is good enough for the quickest time of Q1 so far. The checkered flag is out. Those already on the lap can continue it through to the checkered flag. At this moment in time, it is Juan Angel Rosso who's on the absolute edge of making it through to Q3. Nelson Piquet Jr. has completed his time, so he's not going to improve. It is all down now to Mikel Azcona in 16th position. Azcona, personal fastest first and second sector. Can Mikel Azcona get into the top 12? We'll find out in a few moments' time. We're having a look now as we cross the line. Mikel Azcona 13th at this moment in time. Mikel Azcona, unbelievably, doesn't make it through to Q2. That is a massive implications for the Spanish driver. Azcona, of course, third in the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour standings. That'll be a big blow to the Spanish charge if he cannot, well, he doesn't make it through to Q2. Where will he finish in the overall running order? This is Juan Manuel Casella that we're looking at this moment in time as well. He crosses the line. Does he improve? Not quite. Dusan Borkovic then is the driver who is quickest. Rafael Suzuki is coming to the line as well. Suzuki currently in 10th place. His day is done. He's down pit lane. Good job for the Brazilian driver. And that is qualification 1, the longest qualification 1 in the whole wide world, over and done with. And the big news, Mikel Azcona 13th, Nelson Piquet 14th, John Felipe in 15th position. They will not make it through into Q2. So 13th on down, the grid is set for races 1 and 2. In 13th place, Azcona, 14th Piquet, Felipe in 15th, Cardozo 16th from Osman in 17th, Castella 18th from Rossi, Pania in 20th, Jan Antuoni in 21st, Viva Aqua 22nd, Malione and Herdeiras didn't complete the session. Fabio Casagrande as well from Norberto Fontana. And these are our top 12 qualification results from Q1. Dusan Borkovic for GOAT Racing is the fastest driver from Cyan Lincoln Co Racing's Ted Bjork and Jan Elishe. Santiago Rutia 4th, Esteban Guerrieri 5th, Marco Butti 6th, Marcin Qua 7th, Norbert Michaelis in 8th, from Rafael Racing 9th, Rafael Suzuki in 10th, Bebu Girolami 11th, and the last of the drivers making it through to Q2 is Juan Angel Rosso in 12th position. You can see the rest of the field on your screen now, all the way down to Diego Gutierrez in 28th, and last, of course, Gutierrez was soaring a little bit of strife earlier on, avoided contact with any barriers though, so the car will very much be in good order, ready for race 1 tomorrow afternoon, 16:10 CEST on the TCR TV YouTube channel, of course. And now we've got a small, and it feels very small compared to the break that we've had previously, a small 5-minute gap before we go in to a 10-minute Q2 session. Fastest 12 drivers will take part. First to 12th will set the first to 12 positions for grid for race 1. First to 10th will be reversed for the grid for race 2. So if you finish 10th in this Q2 session, you'll start 10th in race 1 and on pole in race 2, which makes it very spicy indeed, and one of the many reasons I absolutely adore touring car racing. Bebu Girolami said he's going to go for the reverse grid pole position. Well, first part of the job done and dusted. He's made it in to that top 12 with the 11th quickest time. Bebu has got a strategic masterclass he needs to display in order to secure his, hopeful for him, front row start for the second race and final race of the afternoon tomorrow. Jan Elishe, he was in a bit of strife before we went through to the restarted session. In the end though, no harm, no foul. Third position for the French driver in Q1, showing the significant pace of the Lincoln Co's that we've seen all weekend long. Lincoln Co Cyan Racing 2, 3 and 4 in that session, with Marcin Qua kind of spoiling the symmetry a little down in 7th place. The cyan coloured cars are going to be very competitive, methinks, over the course of this weekend, and that's exactly what Jan Elishe will need, because he's making up quite a gap to Norbert Miklas ahead. 22 points is the gap at the head of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. So then, the end of Q1, fastest of the TCR South American TCR Brazil drivers is Rafael Reis in 9th place, Rafael Suzuki in 10th, Orangel Rosso in 12th. 3 of our South American drivers making it through to Q2 today. Very impressive turn of pace from each and every one of the drivers, it has to be said. As you can see on the top of your screen, Q2 will start at 16:34 local hours. That is, of course, just under 5 minutes from now. Then we'll go again for one final 10-minute session to decide the grids for race 1 and race 2. If you're still watching this on the TCR TV YouTube channel, first I commend you for your patience. I apologise for the delays while we made some repairs to the circuit infrastructure following a scary, it has to be said, looking piece of contact. Enrique Maglione embedding the Honda very heavily into the barriers. Took over an hour to get that car extracted and make the track safe to go racing again. But we are very much in a go position here in Interlagos, and we're only a few moments away from starting Q2 to set the grid for both races, round 7 and 8, the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour. The grid looking somewhat resplendent, it has to be said, with this famous Interlagos pit lane. Beautiful facilities here at the Sao Paulo venue, one of the premier racetracks in South America. Of course, hosts Formula 1, World Endurance Championship, Stock Car Brazil, TCR South America, of course, and now the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour, amongst many other prestigious championships, globally as well as nationally. And it really is an absolutely sensational venue to visit, sensational venue to go racing, and it's certainly a sensational place to have some fun in a drone. So it seems. Beautiful shots from our drone pilot here at the Interlagos circuit. Very green, very luxurious, lush looking scenery around this track. In a few moments time we're going to unleash the 12 fastest drivers today to go and drag every ounce of speed out of these TCR touring cars for this Q2 session. Critical, this session. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The top 12 fastest cars from Q1 are going to take part in a 10-minute dash. The top 10 at the end of the session will be reversed for the grid for race 2. Do you go quickly? Do you secure the spot for race 2? What's the play? Several drivers, this man in particular, Dusan Borkovic, were more interested in the overall pole position. Dusan, very quick indeed in Q1. Mentioned to Letitia that he was struggling a little bit, sort of still learning the circuit due to the limited amount of track time these drivers have had. Not entirely comfortable, the big Serbian, in the GOAT Racing Honda Civic FL5 TCR, showing very little sign of that discomfort. It has to be said in Q1 to go quickest. He was quickest in FP2, in fact, earlier on today. So Borkovic, definitely a man that's got a little bit of pace to hand, it seems, in qualifying. Esteban Gurrieri, the quickest driver in Q1, definitely has plenty of pace to hand. He's been at the sharp end of the field pretty much throughout, it has to be said. This weekend, Esteban Gurrieri did a good job in the World Tour standings. 4th overall, 121 points, plays 150 for Norbert Miklas. This is a big opportunity for the Argentine driver to score big and close down that gap at the very head of the field. Rafael Reis, seen plenty of him today in the number 77 car. He's one of the drivers representing TCR South America, TCR Brazil, Banco BRB, and he'll certainly be interested after the confidence-inspiring Q1. The prospects of this car being embedded firmly into the top 10 at the end of Q2, I'd say they're rapidly reducing those odds. I've got a good feeling that if I am Rafael Reis, I'm going to be relatively enthusiastic about the possibility of being on the front couple of rows for race 2. That's got to be the goal for the Brazilian driver. Not quite got the pace, I don't think, outright pace for pole in Q1, but definitely can do some interesting work for the second and final race of the weekend, should this next 10 minutes go to order. Beautiful shots on board the Civic there. Let's have a quick look then at the cars exiting pit lane. So here we go, Q2, 10 minutes. 10 minutes to decide 2 grids, 12 cars, 1 track, ever decreasing sunshine in the sky. feels like a perfect time to go racing, or qualifying, should I say. Racing's tomorrow, Paul. Calm yourself down. I'm that excited, I'm a day ahead of myself. Time to go qualifying then. Rafael Suzuki will be more than satisfied with his day's work thus far. The real meat of the challenge is yet to come. The Brazilian driver, quick in Q1, got the all-important top 12, and now it's all about getting inside the top 10. A little bit of a waiting game. Try and get the fresh air that you need on the racetrack. Pit lane is open, of course. The timer is starting to count down already. 9 minutes, 8 seconds left on the clock. As per form, we see a whole bunch of Lincoln Co. Cyan racing cars together as one. Marcin Guar is currently the one making at the back of that particular pack. Slipstream, so very important here in Interlagos. The whole final section, all the way through to Young Cow, up to T13, 14, 15. Flat chat, the TCR car. You can get a draft from somebody in front that will pull you along very nicely indeed. And a good slipstream could be the difference between a good and a bad qualification result. There's that beautiful shot again. Camera pulled along the wire at speed, and it's following very nicely indeed the Palladini Racing Toyota Corolla. Love these shots. Can make you a little bit dizzy after a while, but do love these shots at Interlagos. Really helps you see just how wild these TCR touring cars are on the limit. Really, they seem relatively planted watching them on the TV, but trackside, they're so agile, there's so much movement going on behind the wheel. If you're absolutely on the ragged edge of adhesion like these drivers are, and it really is a sight to behold to see a TCR touring car piloted at flat chat. As Rosso just goes through our shot there, is Rafael Race just going to the bottom of our screen. Then the two BRC Hyundai Squadron Corsa cars, Cyan Racing Lincoln Co's, and Rafael Suzuki decides time to join the party. Brazilian driver exiting pit lane, a little bit out of sync with these cars, and Robert Michaelis kicks up the grass on the exit of the Senna S's. Stalking, it seems to be Norbert Michaelis, with Santiago Urrutia behind, trying to put off the Hungarian driver. Urrutia a lot closer to the back of Norbi's Hyundai Elantra. The Hungarian driver makes way for the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing machine. Doesn't want to impede any, and Santiago Urrutia will be a little bit compromised as Marcin Guar is the fastest so far through Sector 1. 39.679, significantly quicker than pretty much everybody around him. So Mar, the man on the pace at this moment in time. Look at that. That is truly sensational imagery here from Interlagos. I adore those shots. Watch that one all day long as Robert Michaelis still keeping the watching brief. His lap is toast, of course, having let the Lincoln Co through. So this is a building lap, ready to go for a push next time around. Sector 2, the quickest car through the timing beam is Santi Urrutia. So despite clearing Norbert Michaelis, that doesn't seem to have held up the Uruguayan driver too much. A couple of tenths loft in Sector 1. Very quick in Sector 2. And then over the line first is Juan Rosso. Then Girolamo and Race and Urrutia and Elishay all go quickly. So Urrutia is currently the provisional pole sitter after the first lap of the session. Everybody's going to, of course, stay completely well and truly flat to the boards, as they'll be keen to manage to get in as many laps as they possibly can in this Q2 session. The dying daylight here in Interlagos. I dare say we'll see very few drivers elected to come down pit lane, and it will just be a push to the checkered flag for each one of the drivers. So it's Urrutia from Girolamo, from Elishay, from Bjork, from Race, Mar, Rosso, Buti, Guerrieri, and Borkovic. Number Michaelis, Rafael Suzuki, the drivers currently outside of the top 10 as things stand. We're hitting the halfway point then of Q2 here at Interlagos. Frederick Vallen having a word with Paul there on the line. It's Cyan Lincoln Co. Racing pit wall. Frederick, team manager, Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. Of course, the man on the left-hand side. That's his charge there, Santiago Urrutia. Little snatch a break, no drama though. Urrutia pushing hard, still almost not quite been held up by the Hyundai ahead. certainly no problems. Fastest of all, Sector 1. A little bit slower in Sector 2 for Sante. Esteban Guerrieri, what we're looking at here. Whoa! 2 wheels for the GOAT Racing driver. Catches the Sasha curb, but it's not the fastest way around the Interlagos circuits. That's not going to help him any at all. Guerrieri, though, quickest in Sector 2. And a couple of drivers down pit lane. Not so for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa car of Norbert Michaelis, the 105. Michaelis better this time around, 5th position on the last lap, fastest personal sectors 1, 2 and 3, but not quite enough to challenge Santiago Urrutia. One man that is quick enough though is that man Esteban Guerrieri. Guerrieri now in provisional pole position, a 42.040, 10th of a second up on the Uruguayan driver behind. Great lap for Esteban Guerrieri. Marco Butti in to 3rd position as well. Urrutia in pit lane, as you can see on your screen. There is Ted Bjork through our windscreen, being pulled back into position. Fresh set of boots. In fact, Norb's lap actually has been deleted. So Norbert Michaelis' lap has been deleted. Bad news for the Hungarian driver. Still without a time on the board. 12th quickest this thing stands. So Norby needs to go again. Rapidly running out of time, of course. He went off sequence to the majority of the field. Elected to complete his flying lap, having been compromised somewhat, letting Urrutia through the previous tour. And then that lap is wasted from Norbert Michaelis. So our championship leader, under a bit of pressure, it has to be said, with just over 3 minutes left on the clock. Esteban Guerrieri still quickest from Urrutia and Butte. Girolami in 4th. For the South America and Brazilian contingent, Rafael Reis is the quickest in 7th place. Juan Rosso in 9th, Suzuki in 10th. And there is, right on cue, the car of Rafael Reis. On our screens at this moment in time, the 42.901 is the time on the clock. That is 8.5, just over 10ths of a second away from Guerrieri at the front of the field. Few drivers on their way out of pit lane. Santiago Urrutia, Jan Elishay, Ted Bjork and Reis that you saw on your screen there, all on their outlaps. That's a very squirrely, indeed it has to be said, very squirrely looking Nestor Girolami, riding on board with the Argentine driver briefly. As we see the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa, Hyundai Elantra N TCR out on racetrack in these beautiful shots. And the 3 Lincoln Kosei racing car, just a little manners a little bit there. I think it's fair to say on Juan Rosso, just let him know that we're making our way through. Thank you for getting out of the way. Don't think about coming back through again though, because Ted Bjork is leading this particular train. Ted Bjork is going to pull his teammates along, sacrificing almost a little bit his own qualifying potential. 6th position for Bjork, Elishay behind, Marco Butti 3rd position. Ted Bjork, the man that's going to be pulling his teammates along. He's the one that's going to be breaking a hole in the air as the duo behind teammates at Lincoln Kosei Racing use his slipstream, hopefully for their case, to good effect. Ted Bjork absolutely on fire at Mid-Ohio last time around. 2 of the best touring car races I've ever seen. The Swedish driver complete race victory at a podium for good measure. Fantastic performance from Ted. He's carrying that performance and that form through to Brazil. As we see now, those 3 cars start their quickest lap. Michaelis does set a time on his 3rd lap on these tyres, so he goes up into 8th position, does Norby. But Norbert Michaelis not coming for fresh boots, under pressure. It has to be said, is the Hungarian driver. He's 8th as things stand, but Michaelis definitely not on the optimal rubber condition for this part of the session. He's going to be under pressure from the pack behind. There's a couple of changes as well. I think Michaelis moves down to 9th, Suzuki up into 8th position. So Rafael Suzuki into 8th place, 1.1 seconds for our championship leader. Is the gap to himself for Esteban Guerrieri. Not a helpful gap. A little bit of smoke kicked up, no harm for Rafael Suzuki though. He works his way through that one as the 2 Lincoln Kosei Racing's continue to squabble. Ted Bjork still leading this particular trio. Bjork not quite able to gap Jan Elishay behind. He, of course, using the slipstream is Elishay, double slipstream for Urrutia as well. So both drivers benefiting from the sacrifice that teammate Ted Bjork is making. The clock hits 0 at the top of your screen. We're going to be going checker at the end of this lap. Anybody on a lap is allowed to complete their time. Quickest through Sector 2 is Marco Butti. Sector 3, in fact, he finishes in 3rd position. He's in pit lane, is Butti now, so his day is done. All eyes on these 3 Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing cars. Elishay, personal fastest in Sector 2. All 3 drivers in Sector 2. In fact, Björk moves out of the way, allows his teammate through, Jan Elishay. Can he do anything as he crosses the line? Elishay in a 3rd position. That works very nicely indeed. And Urrutia into pole position. Santiago Urrutia from Uruguay gets the provisional fastest time. Esteban Guerrieri is still on the racetrack, but I don't think he has an answer to the Uruguayan driver Dusan Borkovic that we're looking at now. Crosses the line. 11th position for the Serbian. So he's going to be the man that starts in 11th of both races. No, but Mikulis, the contra strategy works very nicely indeed. The Hungarian, 10th position. That's going to be pole for race 2. Fantastic stuff. Guerrieri in 2nd place as well. But it's that man, Santiago Urrutia, that takes the pole position. 1st place for race 1, 10th for race 2. Dusan Borkovic has had 2 laps deleted. That's why he's down in 11th place. Juan Rosso down in 12th as well. So they fail to make it on to the reverse grid. But pats on the back all around for Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing. That's a very strong result indeed. Urrutia on pole from Esteban Guerrieri, Jan Elishay and Marco Butti. Nestor Girolami from Ted Bjork. Rafael Race 7th. Rafael Suzuki in 8th position. A 1 second spread covers our top 8 drivers, or a 1.1 second spread covers our top 8 drivers. Then in 9th it's Marcin Kvar from Norbert Mikulis. That'll be the reverse grid front row for race 2 tomorrow. Dusan Borkovic with those 2 deleted laps, and Juan Rosso round out in 12th place. It's been a long qualifying session, it has to be said. There's been a whole lot of downtime, but when the green flag waved, the pressure increased, the drama and the anticipated excitement delivered tenfold. Santiago Urrutia is the man that was calmest and quickest of all concerned. He got the job done and took with it the provisional pole position from Esteban Guerrieri and Jan Elishay. Pole then for the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing driver, just ahead of his home race next time around at El Pinar. It was challenging to say the least for Santiago in Mid-Ohio, and that's the best way to answer all the criticism. Big hug for his team. That means a lot to the Uruguayan driver. That means a lot to the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing team, and that is a fabulous pole position for Santiago. Great result, great lap time. He was 0.2 of a second at the end from Esteban Guerrieri. 0.2 of a second in the touring car is night and day, and I think it's time to have a quick word with our pole position winner.
And I'm here with him, Santiago Urrutia from Uruguay, the first pole position of the KUMHO FIA World Tour in Brazil. Congratulations, here's your trophy. A few words on your pole position, congratulations.
I'm very happy, thank you to the team, they gave me an awesome car, so yeah. It was tough, you know, with the red flag at the beginning, and I knew I had the car, but I have to put the lap together, so yeah, nothing to say, just thank you to Cyan and Lincoln Co. They gave me an awesome car during the weekend, so we started with the right foot, but still long work to do, so I'm super happy.
Okay, thank you, and I see you tomorrow for race 1 and race 2 of the KUMHO FIA TCR World Tour.
Fantastic result then, Santiago Urrutia, first pole since Uruguay 2023, and we're in action again tomorrow, 16:10 CEST on the TCR TV YouTube channel. Make sure you join us there for what should be a fantastic racing event. So for myself, Paul Jeffrey, and all concerned, thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow, and goodbye. Cars are in position